The scream tore through the quiet jungle like something alive. It wasn't the scream of an animal. It was a desperate, trembling cry of a little girl. So faint, so weak, that even the trees seemed to shiver as the sound drifted through them. "Daddy, please don't leave me here. Please." Those were the last words 9-year-old Zara whispered before the darkness swallowed her voice, and the headlights of the black Mercedes slowly reversed, turning away from her small, trembling body. Her father, billionaire Frederick Cole, one of the richest men across Nigeria and the United States, did not look back. Not once. The engine growled. The tires rolled over dried leaves. And the man who had built empires, hospitals, schools, and global charities abandoned his only daughter on the cold forest ground because he believed she was cursed. Zara watched the car disappear, her body shaking from fever, her small chest rising in painful breaths. She had been sick for months, too fragile to walk for long, too tired to even cry loudly. Her skin glistened with sweat, and her heart pounded in confusion. She didn't understand why her father, her hero, was suddenly afraid of her. She lifted her shaking hand toward the empty path where the car had vanished. "Daddy, don't go, don't leave me." But the jungle answered her with silence. And then, with movement, a shadow drifted between two trees. Slow, tall, watching her. Zara's heart hammered. She tried to force her body to move, but the fever held her down. The shadow inched closer and closer, until two bright eyes appeared from the darkness. And at that exact moment, something snapped loudly behind her. A footstep. Human, then another, and another. Hands, rough, unfamiliar, grabbed her small arm from behind. Before she could scream, everything went black. The jungle swallowed her, and years later, her father would wish he had died before facing what those missing years turned his daughter into. The story begins years earlier. Frederick Cole was not born a billionaire. He was a man who fought his way out of poverty, worked 3 jobs, and chased opportunities until he crossed oceans. By the time he turned 45, he owned a chain of tech companies, luxury resorts, multiple oil blocks, and a charity foundation admired around the world. People praised him. Investors feared him. Politicians needed him. He appeared powerful, untouchable, perfect, until Zara fell sick. She was 8 years old when the illness began. At first, it was minor, a headache here, a fever there, occasional weakness. But soon, the symptoms grew stranger. Zara began to wake up at night trembling, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Her skin sometimes felt unusually warm, then icy cold the next moment. She would speak in her sleep, saying words and languages she never learned. Worst of all, whenever she grew sick, electrical appliances around her flickered. Lights buzzed. Phones switched off. The doctors called it coincidence. But the villagers near Frederick's Nigerian estate whispered another explanation. "For spirits," they said. "A cursed child," some murmured. "She is a child claimed by the old jungle," others warned. African superstition spread faster than medical truth. Frederick didn't believe any of it, until the night Zara fainted during a family dinner in Atlanta. The chandelier above her burst into sparks at the same moment. Plates cracked. The lights flickered for several minutes, even after she was carried away. That was when fear, something he had never known in his powerful life, began to crawl inside him. Doctors could not explain her illness. Every hospital ran tests. Every expert gave different answers. Some said neurological disorder. Some said rare infection. Some said trauma. Others said they didn't know. His wife, Lena, begged him not to panic. She pleaded with him to stay strong. But fear grew roots inside Frederick's chest. Then one old village priest whispered 7 words that destroyed the man. Leave her in the jungle or lose everything. Frederick tried to laugh at the priest's warning, but the man's eyes were cold, unwavering. "The spirits want her back," he said. "She belongs to them." For days, Frederick could not sleep. His mind fought logic and fear like 2 spirits battling inside him. He loved Zara. She was his miracle child, born after 10 years of waiting. But every time she collapsed, every time a strange wind blew through rooms she walked into, every time her eyes flickered strangely during fever, he felt the fear grow. And then the final blow came. During a board meeting, while Frederick presented a Billionaire project, Zara, who was resting at home, suddenly screamed in her sleep. At the same exact moment, in the boardroom miles away, every screen went black. All devices died. The room temperature dropped. Executives panicked. Security rushed in. But the one detail that shook Frederick was that Zara, still unconscious at home, whispered his name at that exact second, and cameras captured her saying it. That same night, as if fate wanted to crush him completely, his most trusted advisor whispered the same warning the priest had spoken. "Sir, your daughter is marked. If you don't return her to the place she belongs, everything connected to you will fall apart." Fear swallowed Frederick whole. And fear makes even the strongest men do unthinkable things. The night of abandonment. It rained heavily, the sky roaring like it wanted to warn him. Frederick carried Zara from the car, her small body weak against his shoulder, her breath shallow. She looked up at him, trusting, loving, completely unaware of what he planned to do. "Daddy," she whispered, her voice thin, "are we going home soon?" Frederick's throat tightened. Tears burned behind his eyes. But the priest's words echoed like thunder. Leave her in the jungle or lose everything. He set her gently on the ground, too gently, as if part of him begged him to stop. Zara blinked in confusion. "Daddy, where are we?" He stepped back. Rain hit his face. His hands shook. "Daddy?" Zara's voice grew small. "Why are you crying?" He wasn't crying, but his soul was. He turned away. "Daddy, wait!" she cried. "I'm scared." He forced his legs to move. "Daddy, please. I'm sick, don't leave me." But he kept walking. Her cries stabbed him again and again until he reached the car door. His hand trembled on the handle. He paused. For a second he came close, so close, to running back and grabbing her. But lightning cracked across the sky, and fear reminded him of all the warnings. He entered the car. Zara screamed. He closed his eyes and drove away. Minutes later, when he finally stopped the car to breathe, he realized his hands were shaking so violently that he could barely hold the steering wheel. He whispered to himself over and over, like someone praying for forgiveness. "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." But some mistakes follow a man forever, and Frederick would soon learn that the jungle never returns what it accepts. Years later, in the same jungle where Zara was abandoned, something moved through the trees. Fast, confident, powerful. Hunters whispered about a mysterious figure that walked like a human, but moved like the wind. Villagers spoke of a girl with eyes that glowed at night. Some said she saved lost children. Others claimed she punished wicked men who entered the forest with evil intentions. Rumors spread. Legends grew. Stories traveled from village to city. But the truth, the real truth, was far worse than anything anyone imagined, because Zara did not die in that jungle. Something found her. Something raised her. Something changed her. And when Frederick finally came face to face with what his daughter had become, he fell to his knees and begged the universe to take him instead. But by then it was too late, and her revenge had already begun. If you were in Frederick's shoes, what do you think you would have done? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're enjoying the story so far, remember to subscribe, like the video, and share with someone who loves deep African folktales. Also, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to know. The jungle was never meant for a child. Yet, on the night Zara disappeared from her father's world, something ancient stirred within the trees. Something older than any kingdom Frederick Cole had ever built. For hours after her father's car vanished, Zara lay on the wet ground, too weak to crawl, too feverish to think. Every part of her body trembled. The cold rain beat against her skin, and darkness pressed in from all sides. The night animals watched her with cautious eyes. Some approached, some hid, some circled, but none came close enough to touch her. It was as if the forest itself whispered a warning. "Leave this one. She is not yours." Deep inside her feverish mind, Zara wanted to believe her father would return. He had always come back. He had always lifted her into his arms, kissed her forehead, wiped her tears. She repeated those memories over and over, clinging to them as the rain soaked through her clothes. "He's coming back," she whispered weakly. "Daddy always comes back." But the night stretched on, and the truth settled slowly into her bones. He wasn't coming. Not tonight. Not ever. A soft whimper escaped her, and then, just before her body gave out completely, she felt warm breath brush against her cheek. Not human breath. Animal. Zara's eyes snapped open, but her gaze was blurry. A massive shape hovered above her. Two glowing amber eyes stared down at her through the rain. A lioness. Beautiful. Enormous. Wild. Her fur shimmered gold beneath the moonlight filtering through the branches. The lioness lowered her head, sniffed Zara gently, and released a low, rumbling sound, something between a growl and a sigh. Zara wanted to scream, but her voice was too weak. She wanted to run, but her legs could not move. The lioness nudged her softly with her nose. Once, twice, then the great beast did something no one could have ever believed. She lay down beside Zara, curled her huge body around the trembling child, shielded her from the cold rain, and Zara, exhausted, terrified, and desperate for comfort, pressed her small body into the lioness's warmth and fell into a deep unconscious sleep. From the shadows, a much older pair of eyes watched them, eyes that did not blink, eyes that had seen centuries of human fear and human greed, eyes that had been waiting for this child. A cracked voice drifted through the trees. "It has begun." And with that whisper, the night closed around them. At dawn, the city of Lagos buzzed like any other morning. Cars honked. Birds called. Markets swelled with customers searching for bargains. People hurried to work. No one knew that far away, in a jungle the modern world rarely visited, a billionaire's daughter had vanished from the face of the earth. The only people who knew were Frederick and his closest advisor, Jaja. Even Lena, Zara's mother, was kept in the dark. Frederick returned home just before sunrise. His clothes were soaked. His eyes were swollen. His breathing was unsteady. He avoided Lena's gaze as he quietly entered the room. She looked up from Zara's bed. "Frederick," she whispered. "Where is she? I checked her room, and she's not there? Did you take her for tests? Why didn't you wake me?" Frederick froze. He hadn't prepared for this moment. He had imagined that the guilt would make him collapse, that the sorrow would make him confess immediately, that love would force him to tell the truth. But fear is powerful. He swallowed hard. "Zara, she's being taken to a special facility," he forced out. "Experts only. Private. They said we must reduce contact so they can stabilize her condition." Lena blinked, confused. "What facility?" "Frederick, please, take me to my daughter." "No," he said sharply, too sharply. "Not now. They said she must not be disturbed." Something in his tone made Lena step back. Her husband had changed overnight, and she knew it. She studied his face, her voice trembling. "What aren't you telling me?" Frederick looked away. Guilt clawed at his chest like a wild animal, tearing him from inside. But he hardened himself. He told himself this lie was necessary, that it protected their empire, that it protected her. "Lena," he whispered, "trust me, please." She didn't trust him. Not anymore. But she nodded. Because what else could she do? Meanwhile, Frederick's advisor, Jaja, quietly destroyed Zara's medical records, deleted security footage, and bribed every staff member who had seen her the previous night. No missing person report was filed. No public alert was made. The world moved on. And Zara's name slowly faded from her mother's lips as her father fed her stories of special treatment, new doctors, and strict protocols. Lena cried in secret. Frederick cried when no one could see him. But guilt never sleeps, and secrets always return. Zara woke to warmth, soft warmth, comforting warmth, a warmth that did not belong to a hospital or a home, but to something alive. When her eyes opened, she found herself resting against thick golden fur. The lioness, her protector, her guardian. The lioness lifted her head when Zara stirred, then made a deep, gentle sound. Zara blinked in confusion and fear, but the animal did not threaten her. Instead, the lioness stood, stretched, then nudged Zara upright. Zara's fever was gone. Her body felt different, stronger, steady. She could breathe easily for the first time in months. She tried to stand, and though her legs trembled, she did not collapse. The lioness walked a few steps forward, then turned back as if signaling her to follow. And Zara, alone, abandoned and with no other choice, followed her into the jungle. Hours passed. The lioness guided her through the thick forest, past tall trees, clear streams, thick vines, and sunlit clearings. Zara walked silently, her mind replaying the moment her father left her behind. She held her tears until she could not any more. "Why did Daddy leave me?" she whispered. The trees rustled softly, as if answering her sorrow. Zara wiped her face and continued walking. Eventually, the lioness led her into a hidden clearing, a place untouched by human boots. At the center stood a man with gray dreadlocks, dark tribal markings on his face, and eyes that glowed faintly like moonlit water. He leaned on a carved staff. He did not smile. He did not blink. He simply looked at her and said, "You have arrived." Zara stared at him. Who are you?" He stepped closer, studying her with a mixture of awe and caution. "I am a Baidiegwu," he said, "keeper of the old jungle, guardian of things forgotten, protector of secrets older than your world. And you," his voice softened, almost reverent, "you are the child the forest has been waiting for." Zara took a step back. "No," she whispered. "I want to go home." Abadiegwu shook his head. "Child, you were not abandoned by accident. You were returned." Zara's throat tightened. "My father left me," she said. "He didn't come back. He didn't want me." Abadiegwu lifted her chin gently. "What your father saw in you was fear," he said. "But what the forest sees in you is destiny." The lioness paced around them slowly, her tail flicking like a signal. Zara pressed a hand to her chest. "Why me? I'm just a girl." Abadiegwu's voice deepened. "No," he whispered. "You are the one chosen by the spirits of this land. The sickness you carried was not a curse. It was a calling. Your body was changing, preparing. You are not ordinary. And the world you came from could not understand you." Zara didn't understand any of it. She only understood one thing. Her father left her, and now she was alone. The lioness came to her side and rested her head against Zara's arm, as if telling her she wasn't truly alone. Abadiegwu continued, "You will learn. You will grow. You will become what you were meant to be. And one day," his eyes darkened, "you will return to the world that abandoned you." Weeks turned to months. Months turned to a year. Then 2. Then 3. Lena kept asking about Zara, but Frederick's answers became shorter each year. "She's improving. She is undergoing therapy. They're adjusting her treatment. She cannot see us yet." But Lena noticed a tremble in his voice, the way he avoided her eyes, the way he never had new details. She knew something was wrong. She hired a private investigator. Secretly, quietly. But Jaja found out and sent the investigator away with a threat that made him too terrified to continue. Lena grew desperate. Her marriage began to crack. Her faith in Frederick eroded. Then one day, 5 years after Zara vanished, Lena found something Frederick had forgotten to hide. A torn piece of Zara's hospital gown, still stained with dried rain, still smelling faintly of the forest. And when Lena confronted him, Frederick broke for the first time in years. He didn't confess. He ran out of the room, because guilt always grows into terror. And the man knew deep inside, his daughter wasn't dead. She was out there, somewhere, and one day she was coming home. By 16, Zara had changed. She had grown fast, tall, strong, graceful. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark, especially when she was angry. Her skin carried strange markings that appeared and disappeared like shifting shadows. Her hearing sharpened. Her movements became swift and silent. Her senses heightened far beyond human limits. Abadiegwu taught her the old ways, the ancient knowledge of the jungle tribes long forgotten by the world. He taught her how to listen to the forest whispers, how to predict danger by the shift of the wind, how to read the footprint of animals, and how to understand the cries of the living earth. But Zara's greatest bond was with the lioness, whom she named Nala. Nala was her friend, her sister, her protector. Together they roamed the forest, one human, one beast, moving with a unity that frightened hunters and silenced villagers. Zara lived, Zara grew, Zara changed, but she never forgot, not for a single night. Every dream brought back the same memory. Her small hand reaching out in the rain, her father walking away, her voice screaming his name, his silence cutting her like a blade. And one evening, as she stood at the edge of the jungle watching the distant lights of Lagos far beyond the mountains, Abadiego approached her quietly. "You are ready," he said. Zara did not turn. "To do what?" His eyes held a sadness older than time. "To return. To face the man who gave you fear instead of love. To reclaim the life stolen from you. And to decide his fate." Zara inhaled. Slowly, deeply, the wind shifted. Nala growled softly beside her, sensing the heaviness in her heart. "Father," Zara whispered. Her voice trembled, but not from weakness, from power, from purpose, from destiny. Abadiego touched her shoulder. "The forest made you who you are. But now, child, now you must make a choice." Zara closed her eyes, and the moment she opened them, something dangerous and unbreakable shone inside. "I will return," she said, "and when I do—" The ground beneath her feet trembled slightly, responding to her rising energy. Frederick Cole will face what he created. The night the world changed for Frederick Cole began like any other, quiet, controlled, predictable. He was seated in his Lagos penthouse office, overlooking the city lights that shimmered like restless fireflies across the horizon. His hands rested on the polished mahogany desk, but they trembled slightly, something he could no longer hide from himself. He was no longer the unshakable man he once was. Guilt had weakened him. Fear had aged him. Secrets had hollowed him out. "Sir," his advisor Jaja said as he entered the office carefully, "the shareholders are worried. You've missed 2 meetings this week. The board is—" "Enough!" Frederick snapped, though his voice cracked. "I said I needed time." Jaja bowed slightly, but he did not leave. "Sir, she's coming." Frederick's entire body went cold. He didn't need Jaja to explain who she was. For years, Jaja had been the one reminding him, whispering in the dark, "The forest does not forget. Children marked by the spirits do not die. She will return." At first, Frederick told himself Jaja was superstitious, mentally unstable, overwhelmed with guilt. But lately, strange things had been happening. Lights flickering in the mansion, mirrors cracking without being touched, shadows moving in hallways with no source, security dogs refusing to enter the garden at night. And once, just once, Frederick heard a faint whisper behind him while he shaved, the whisper of a child. "Daddy?" He dropped the razor and ran. Now, hearing Jaja say the words aloud, "She's coming," felt like someone reopening an old wound that had never healed in the first place. Frederick turned slowly in his chair. "How do you know?" he asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted the answer. Jaja swallowed hard. Reports from the nearby villages. Hunters claimed they saw a girl with glowing eyes moving with a lion. And last week, one of the governor's drivers said he saw something jump across the highway at midnight. Something fast. Something that wasn't human. Frederick stared through the large window, but the city's bright lights could not kill the darkness building inside him. "How many years has it been, Jaja?" "6, sir." 6 years. 6 long years since he abandoned his daughter. 6 years since he told himself it was the only way. 6 years since he buried the truth under fear and lies. He clenched his fists. "If she's alive," he whispered, "she must hate me." Jaja's silence was the confirmation he feared. Zara stood at the very heart of the ancient forest. Moonlight poured over her like silver water. Her hair flowed wildly around her shoulders, and the markings on her skin glowed faintly. Symbols that pulsed with quiet power. Nala, the lioness, stood beside her, tail flicking in anticipation. Abadiego approached slowly, carrying a carved wooden box. His expression was solemn, almost mournful. "It is time," he said. Zara did not move immediately. She stared at her hands. Hands that had once been small, fragile, trembling with illness, Hands that could now command the wind, read the earth, and silence animals with a single gesture. "I am not ready," she whispered. "You are." Abadiego replied softly. "Pain does not disappear, child. It transforms. And yours is transformed into purpose." He placed a wooden box in her hands. Inside it was an object she had seen only once before, a necklace she wore as a child. A necklace her father gave her on her 5th birthday. A tiny lion-shaped pendant made of gold. She lifted it slowly. The moment her fingers touched it, the pendant glowed. Nala let out a low growl, protective, alert. Abadiego stepped back. "The bond is complete," he said. "Your human past and your forest destiny are now one." Zara closed her eyes, holding the pendant tightly. "I don't know what I feel," she whispered. "Anger? Pain? Fear? Love? Everything is mixed." Abadiego looked at her with the sadness of an old spirit who had seen too many tragedies. "What you feel," he said, "is the weight of a decision. Will you return to punish, or to reclaim your rightful place? Only your heart can choose." Zara's jaw tightened. "My heart," she said slowly, "has never forgotten what he did to me." The wind picked up around her, swirling leaves in a silent circle. Nala growled again, louder this time, as if urging Zara forward. Zara's eyes opened. They glowed, bright, fiery, unmistakably supernatural. "I will return," she said, "and he will face me." Abadiego bowed his head. "Then prepare, child. The world of men is not ready for what you have become." Lena Cole knelt on her bedroom floor, clutching Zara's old hospital gown. The dried rain marks, the faded smell of soil, and the tear in the fabric all burned into her heart like fire. Her voice shook as she whispered, "Frederick, what did you do?" She had tried for years to believe her husband. She had accepted his explanations. She had trusted his special doctors, secret treatments, and restricted access. But something inside her had always felt wrong. Now she knew why. She rose shakily and stormed into Frederick's office. Finding it empty, her eyes landed on his computer. Locked, password protected. She tried multiple guesses before entering the one word she knew he would never think she'd remember. Zara. The system unlocked instantly, and what she saw on the screen made her collapse into the chair. Deleted files, hidden folders, encrypted emails, a GPS trace that led, 6 years ago, to a jungle no hospital existed near. Tears streamed down her face as the truth hit her like a blow. Frederick hadn't taken Zara to a treatment center. He had taken her to the wilderness. He had abandoned her. Her heart cracked into pieces. She pressed a hand to her mouth to stop the scream rising inside. The moment the scream escaped her lungs, something behind her cracked. A mirror, not from wind, not from vibration, from something else. Something powerful. Something supernatural. Lena's eyes widened in terror. What is happening in this house? By dawn, Zara walked to the edge of the forest, dressed in simple brown cloth, her hair braided with wild leaves, Nala pacing beside her. "The world has changed." Abadiego said behind her, "And so have you. But remember, child, once you cross this boundary, your destiny moves without pause." Zara nodded. "I am ready." She took one step forward, then another, until her feet touched the dirt road that led to the main highway. A truck driver saw her from a distance, tall, striking barefoot, glowing faintly in the early morning light, a massive lioness at her side. The driver panicked and swerved off the road. Zara didn't even flinch. Nala growled softly, her ears flattening. "Not yet," Zara whispered to the lioness. "We are only beginning." She walked toward the rising sun, toward the city, toward the man who destroyed her childhood, toward the truth. Around 11 a.m., Frederick was in a meeting with his international partners when the building suddenly shook. Not violently, just enough for every glass of water in the room to ripple. Everyone froze. "Earth tremor?" one investor whispered. "No," Frederick murmured, because he heard something no one else did. A whisper, floating through the air, soft, familiar. "Daddy?" His water glass shattered instantly. Everyone jumped back. Frederick stood slowly, trembling. No one noticed a shadow behind him stretching and curling unnaturally along the wall, as though it belonged to someone not in the room. He swallowed hard. "She's here," he whispered. "Who?" an investor asked. Frederick didn't answer, because at that moment, a lion's roar echoed across the entire city. Not close, not far, everywhere. Impossible, unmistakable, powerful. People screamed and ducked. Cars halted. Cameras shook. News stations paused mid-broadcast. But Frederick Cole, he fell to his knees, because the sound carried something he never expected. A girl's voice behind the roar. A voice he had prayed he would never hear again. "Daddy, I'm coming." If you were Zara, after everything she went through, would you return for give or return for justice? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. If you're enjoying the story so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it so others can experience this powerful tale. And don't forget, tell us where you're watching from in the comments. We love hearing from you. The roar that shook Lagos became the beginning of a rumor, one that spread faster than wildfire. People whispered in taxis, shouted in markets, recorded videos on shaky phones, and argued on radio call-in shows. Some said the roar came from a zoo. Others claimed it was thunder. A few swore they saw a shadow leap between rooftops. But in the penthouse office of Frederick Cole, it was not a rumor. It was a warning. Frederick paced back and forth, sweat pouring down his face. His usually calm voice trembled as he grabbed Jaja by the collar. "Tell me the truth," he demanded. "Is she alive? Is Zara really alive?" Jaja's eyes darted away. "I warned you 6 years ago," he said quietly. "The jungle does not keep the dead, Frederick. It transforms the living." Frederick's grip loosened. He stumbled backward into his chair. His heartbeat pounded against his ribs like a drum. "She's coming for me," he whispered. "Of course she is," Jaja replied. "And the question is, what will she do when she finds you?" Frederick closed his eyes. He didn't have an answer. The sun had barely climbed over the tall Lagos skyscrapers when Zara reached the city outskirts. Cars zoomed past her, horns blaring, as bewildered drivers slowed to stare at the barefoot young woman walking boldly down the road with a lioness at her side. Gasps, screams, cars swerving, motorcycles falling over, children pointing in shock. No one dared come close. Nala's golden fur shimmered under the sunlight. She walked gracefully, every movement powerful and silent. Zara, now 16 but carrying a presence far older, kept her chin high as she stepped deeper into the civilization she once belonged to. Her eyes scanned the towering buildings, the busy roads, the crowds rushing to work. Lagos was louder, faster, and stranger than she remembered. The jungle whispered guidance in her ears. "Find him, the man who abandoned you, the man whose lies destroyed your childhood." Zara placed a hand on Nala's head. "We will see him today," she said. "I can feel it." Nala growled in agreement. But as they approached the city center, something unexpected happened. People began to follow her. First 2, then 5, then 20. Phones lifted, videos recorded, screens flashed, voices trembled. "Is it real? That's a lion. Who is she? Is this a movie? Nah, spirit be that." Somebody called the police. But no one dared approach. The closer Zara moved to the city heart, the stronger her presence grew. It was as if the very air shifted around her, bending to her energy. The ground vibrated faintly. Streetlights flickered. Birds circled overhead as though responding to her arrival. Zara ignored the noise, the whispers, the fear. Her focus sharpened on the tallest building in view, the Cole International Tower. Her father's empire, her father's throne, her father's lie. "We start there," she said, and she began walking toward it. Inside the Cole mansion, Lena Cole sat on the floor of Zara's old room. She clutched her daughter's tiny necklace, an exact match to the one Abadiegu restored in the jungle. Her body shook as she replayed the truth she had uncovered the night before. Frederick lied. He lied about everything. He didn't lose Zara. He left her in the jungle to die. Tears streamed down Lena's cheeks. I will never forgive you, she whispered into the empty room. Never. Then she heard it, a roar, not from the television, not from outside the window. Inside her mind, a roar followed by a child's whisper. Mommy? Lena gasped and clutched her chest. Zara, she whispered. Baby, where you? But the whisper faded. Only silence remained. Lena stood quickly, wiping her tears with trembling hands. She grabbed her car keys. If Zara was alive, if she was truly out there, Lena was going to find her, with or without Frederick. By noon, chaos consumed the front of the coal tower. Security guards blocked the entrance, talking frantically into their radios. Helicopters hovered above. Crowds gathered in thousands. News reporters streamed the scene live. A young girl with an actual lion has been spotted approaching the central district. Witnesses say she appears unharmed and unintimidated. Authorities are advising civilians to stay clear. Zara continued walking, untouched by the panic around her. Every step she took was precise, focused, inevitable. Nala's growl echoed across the street as police vehicles screeched to a stop. Officers jumped out, guns raised, but the moment they locked eyes with Zara, something strange happened. Their hands froze. Their bodies stiffened. Their lungs tightened as though invisible vines had wrapped around their chests. No one fired. No one moved. No one even breathed properly. Zara didn't threaten them. She simply walked forward, her presence too overwhelming to challenge. Finally, she reached the building entrance. The massive glass doors trembled as she stepped closer. Inside, the receptionist screamed and ran. Executives ducked behind desks. Elevators shut down automatically. Alarms buzzed, but Zara kept walking. The glass doors slid open without being touched. Nala entered first, powerful and silent as a shadow. Zara followed. The moment her foot touched the marble floor, the lights flickered violently. Then, boom, a blast of wind erupted inside the lobby, knocking down plants, chairs, and papers. It was not natural wind. It came from her, from the energy growing inside her since childhood. Zara looked up at the elevator shaft. Her father was 50 floors above her. She could feel his heartbeat. She could feel his fear. And she smiled for the first time that day. Father, she whispered, I've come home. When the power cut out across the top floors, Frederick knew she was inside the building. He felt it, not with his eyes, but with his soul. Jaja peeked through the blinds, nervously. Sir, they say she's reached the 20th floor. Frederick's throat tightened. How did she get past security? Jaja turned slowly. Frederick, nothing can stop her. Frederick rushed to the emergency exit, but the doorknob burned hot the moment he touched it. So hot, he screamed and pulled back. The heat wasn't from fire. It was from energy. Her energy. The door refused to open. Frederick staggered backward. His eyes widened in horror. She's sealing the exits. Jaja shook his head. No, the building is responding to her. She is controlling the energy inside it. Frederick, she is not the same girl you left. Frederick collapsed into a chair, shaking his head violently. This is my punishment, he whispered. She's come to kill me. Then, a loud ding. The elevator. Slow. Echoing. Unstoppable. The doors open on the 50th floor. Nala stepped out first. Her golden eyes scanned the hallway. Then Zara appeared. Barefoot. Tall. Calm. Her hair wild around her shoulders. Her eyes glowing faintly like burning amber. She looked nothing like the sick child he left behind. She looked powerful, beautiful, unbreakable, otherworldly. Frederick's breath caught in his throat. Zara, he whispered. She stepped forward. The lights above flickered wildly. Her voice was soft when she finally spoke. Daddy. Frederick flinched as if struck. Nala growled, her muscles tensing. Zara raised a hand slightly. The lioness became silent. She focused on her father. You left me, she said. Frederick's lips trembled. I was afraid. You chose fear over me. I didn't know what else to do. You didn't try, Zara replied. Her voice was steady. Too steady. Frederick took a trembling step backward. Zara, please, you're my daughter. Zara's expression did not soften. I was your daughter, she said. But the moment you left me in that jungle, something else became your child, too. Frederick's heart raced. What does that mean? Zara stepped closer. Her eyes glowed brighter, and the wind around her rose, swirling her hair and shaking the walls. You will find out soon. For a long moment, no one moved. The air inside the 50th floor executive hallway grew heavy, so heavy that breathing felt like trying to inhale water. Frederick pressed a trembling hand against the wall as Zara's eyes locked onto his, glowing brighter with each heartbeat he took. Behind him, Jaja stepped backward until his body hit a cabinet. His voice shook. Frederick, don't anger her. Zara turned her gaze toward Jaja. Not harshly, not angrily, just knowingly. You, she said softly, you helped him hide the truth. Jaja froze. His throat tightened. He couldn't speak. Zara didn't need him to. I remember your voice, she continued. The night I was abandoned, when my father put me on the ground, your voice told him to go. Jaja's knees buckled. He sank to the floor. Please, he whispered. I did what I thought would protect the family. Zara tilted her head. The family, she echoed. And what was I? Jaja broke into tears. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Zara's expression didn't soften, but her gaze moved past him. She wasn't here for revenge on the advisor. Not yet. Her eyes returned to Frederick. We need to talk, she said. Frederick lifted shaking hands. That's it. Take anything you want. I'll call the doctors. No. Her voice sliced the air, calm but undeniable. You will listen. The walls hummed, vibrating faintly. The lights overhead flickered violently, then steadied as Zara stepped further into the room. Nala followed, her golden eyes never leaving Frederick. Zara walked to the window and touched the glass. The moment her fingers rested against it, a pulse of light spread across the pane like ripples in water. You built an empire here, she said quietly. Your face is everywhere. Your companies feed thousands. Your name commands respect. She turned toward him, her hair swaying as if moved by invisible wind. But none of it erased what you did. Frederick felt his lungs tighten. Zara, I thought you were cursed. Zara took one step toward him. Nala growled low. Cursed, Zara repeated. You believed whispers from people who feared what they didn't understand. You trusted strangers more than your own blood. I didn't know what to do, Frederick whispered. Your sickness, the way electricity reacted, the faint glow in her eyes, the nightmares. I thought something spiritual was trying to take you. And instead of saving me, Zara said, you delivered me. Frederick's eyes widened. Delivered you to who? Zara paused. The wind in the room grew still. Her voice lowered. To the world that was waiting for me. To the forest that saw what you could not. Frederick swallowed hard. What were you now? Zara stepped so close he could see the markings on her skin shimmer, like fire beneath the surface. I am the child of the jungle, she said. I am the daughter of an ancient spirit line. I am the one you feared without understanding. Frederick stumbled backward. What does that mean? Are you still human? Zara held his gaze. I am what the world made me, what you made me. Frederick's breathing steadied enough for him to whisper. What happened to you in the jungle? Zara glanced at Nala, then at the window where the wind shifted as if answering her. I didn't die, she said. I didn't disappear. The forest took me in. She closed her eyes and her voice softened. The lioness found me first. She kept me warm. She shared her strength. She became my protector. Nala lowered her head slightly, as though acknowledging the memory. Then Abadiegwa found me. Zara continued, the keeper of the old ways. The man who saw what I truly was, the child carrying the blood of a forgotten spirit line. Frederick's voice was barely audible. Spirit line? Yes, she said. The sickness you feared was not an illness. It was awakening, evolution, a transformation that frightened you, but belonged to me. She slowly opened her eyes. The glow was unmistakably stronger now. "You tried to destroy my destiny," she said, "but instead, you delivered me into it." Frederick fell into his chair. Tears streamed down his cheeks. Zara, I'm sorry. I've lived with this torment every day. I thought leaving you would protect us. I didn't know." "You didn't try to know." His mouth shut instantly. "You didn't seek truth," she continued. "You didn't ask questions. You listened to fear." She took a breath, and for the first time since she entered the room, her voice cracked slightly. "You didn't fight for me." Something inside Frederick shattered. He broke into uncontrollable sobs, bending forward until his forehead hit the desk. "I failed you," he cried. "I failed you as a father. I failed you as a human being." Zara watched him silently. For the first time since her return, emotion flickered across her face. But not forgiveness. Not yet. Suddenly, boom! A loud crack thundered through the floor. The windows began to vibrate. The lights went out. The temperature dropped sharply. Jaja scrambled backward. What is happening?" Zara closed her eyes. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "She's here." "Who?" Frederick demanded. Zara opened her eyes slowly. "The one who watched over me. The one who kept me alive. The one who made sure I became what I was meant to be." Nala growled toward the elevator, not in warning, but in respect. Frederick's eyes widened. "Another spirit?" "No," Zara said. "A protector." The elevator dinged. The door slid open. Cold wind filled the hallway, wind that smelled of rain, soil, and ancient earth. Everyone froze. Out of the elevator stepped a woman, tall, graceful, wrapped in garments of woven vines and leaves that moved like living fabric. Her skin shimmered faintly like moonlit water. Her hair flowed around her like smoke. Her eyes, deep green with a golden ring, glowed with unmistakable ancient power. Frederick's heart nearly stopped. Who is she?" Zara bowed her head slightly. "She is Omalika," she said, "guardian spirit of the forest, the one who raised me when you left me to die." Omalika stepped forward, her voice echoing with layered tones. "One human, one otherworldly. Frederick Cole," she said, "the forest has waited a long time to meet you." Frederick stumbled backward in terror. What you want from me?" Omalika's gaze sharpened. "That is not for me to decide," she said. "It is for the child you abandoned." Zara turned fully toward her father. The air grew colder. "Your fate," Zara said, "will be chosen today." Frederick trembled uncontrollably. "Please," he whispered. "Please, Zara. I'm begging you." "Begging," she repeated slowly, "is what I did that night." Silence fell. Frederick broke completely. He dropped to his knees. "Forgive me," he whispered. Zara's eyes flickered, not with anger this time, with conflict, emotion, a war inside her heart. Omalika stepped aside. "The choice is yours, child of two worlds." And Zara stepped forward, slowly, softly, powerfully. Her father lifted his face, tears streaming down. "Zara," she raised her hand. But whether to punish him or spare him was a decision only the next chapter would reveal. Zara's hand remained suspended in the air, caught between vengeance and mercy. Just inches away, Frederick knelt trembling, his fingers clutching the carpet as though it could anchor him to life. His breath came out in short, rapid gasps. Every instinct screamed at him to run, but his body wouldn't obey. Behind Zara, Omalika watched in solemn silence. Nala stood alert, golden eyes fixed on Frederick. Jaja huddled in the corner, praying under his breath. The air thickened, heavy enough to make the walls creak. Omalika's voice broke the silence first. "Child, the forest did not shape you for wrath alone." Zara didn't answer. She stared at her father, her chest rising and falling as emotion battled inside her. The markings beneath her skin flickered like embers fighting against wind. Frederick lifted his tear-stained face. "Zara, if you kill me, I won't blame you," he whispered. "But please, before you do anything, tell me, what happened after I left you?" Zara's hand slowly lowered, not out of forgiveness, but because the truth was heavier than any punishment she could give. "You want to know?" she asked softly. Frederick nodded weakly. Zara took one step back. "Then listen." She stood tall, the glow in her eyes dimming, not disappearing, but softening into memory. "When you left me in the jungle, I didn't understand at first. I thought you were coming back. I thought you want to find help." Frederick's face crumpled. Zara continued. "But when the rain soaked through my clothes and the darkness grew thicker, I realized something no child should ever have to understand. I was not wanted." Nala growled, a low, grieving sound. "I cried until I had no voice," Zara said. "I screamed your name until the night swallowed it. And when my body finally stopped fighting, I waited for death." Her voice dropped to barely a whisper. But death never came. Zara's eyes darkened as she relived the moment. "The lioness found me first. She should have eaten me. I was weak, alone, helpless. But she lay down beside me and warmed me with her body. She gave me the strength to survive the night." Frederick stared at Nala, trembling. "And then Abadiegwa found me," Zara continued, "the keeper of the ancient world. He looked at me as if he had seen me before, even though we had never met. He lifted me gently from the ground and said, 'You have returned home.'" Frederick whispered, "Returned?" Zara nodded. "My mother never told you the truth," she said softly. "I wasn't just born sick, Father. I was born different. I carried a bloodline your world forgot existed." Omalika stepped forward, her presence filling the room. "The child you abandoned," she said, "is a descendant of the Ahai lineage, a rare spirit line that bridges the human world and the ancient one. The sickness you saw was not disease. It was awakening, and you feared what you did not understand." Frederick shook his head slowly. "But I didn't know. I didn't know what she was." "You didn't ask," Omalika said, "and that was your sin." Zara's expression hardened, not with hate, but with truth. "Abadiegwa taught me the old ways. He healed me. He showed me how to use the power inside me. I learned to hear the earth, to command wind, to calm storms, to protect life, to fight when needed." Frederick took a shaky breath. "And all these years you lived out there? Alone?" Zara glanced at Nala. "I was never alone." Her voice softened again. "But Father, every night, even when I grew stronger, even when the spirits taught me to walk with power, I still remember the rain, the cold, the sound of your footsteps walking away." Frederick closed his eyes, choking on his sobs. "That memory," Zara said, "followed me like a shadow, and it pushed me to return, not just to face you, but to find out why." She stepped forward again. "Why did you abandon me?" The question hit him like a blow. Frederick wiped his tears with trembling fingers. "I was afraid," he whispered. "The night you fainted and every light in the house flickered, I panicked. Your mother was asleep. I didn't want her to see. I didn't understand what was happening. I thought you were possessed. The priest told me spirits wanted you back. I believed him." Zara clenched her jaw. "Instead of protecting me, you delivered me to monsters you imagined. Instead of seeking truth, you surrendered to fear." Frederick lowered his head. "You're right," he whispered. "I was a coward." A long silence followed. Then Zara asked the second question she came for. "Do you regret it?" Frederick lifted his head slowly. His voice cracked. "I regret it every single day. I cannot sleep. I cannot breathe. Every time I look at a child on the street, I see your face. Every time thunder strikes, I hear you crying in the rain. I am not the man people think I am. I am a man who made the worst mistake a father can make." Zara's breath trembled. Her emotions shifted. Her power pulsed. Nala stepped closer, brushing her side. "The forest taught me strength," Zara said softly, "but it did not teach me what to do with this pain." Omalika spoke from behind her. "Pain does not define you," she said. "Choice does." Zara's gaze returned to her father. "You took my childhood," she whispered. "You broke my home. You fed lies to my mother. You turned my name into a secret. I came here ready to punish you." Frederick squeezed his eyes shut. But now, she said, standing before you, I do not feel vengeance the way I expected. I feel something stronger. Frederick opened his eyes again, hope flickering. What do you feel? Zara stepped closer until she stood directly in front of him. I feel the truth of who I am, she said, and the truth of who you became. Her voice deepened. I cannot give you forgiveness yet. That is something earned, not given. But I will give you something else. Frederick's lips trembled. What is that? A chance, Zara said. Frederick gasped. Omalika's eyes widened slightly, surprised but approving. Zara continued. You will face judgment, not by my anger, not by the spirits, but by the truth you hid. You will tell the world what you did. You will confess what happened to your daughter. You will free my mother from your lies. And then, her eyes glowed fiercely. You will live with the consequences. Frederick bowed his head in shame, tears dripping onto the floor. I will do anything, he whispered. Anything to make it right. Zara nodded once, but her expression shifted suddenly. Her eyes narrowed. Her posture stiffened. Omalika turned sharply. Nala growled with her fur rising in spikes. Something was wrong. Something outside the tower had shifted. Zara whispered, They're coming. Frederick blinked, panicked. Who? Who's coming? Zara turned toward the window. Her voice dropped to a chilling whisper. The hunters. The glass behind her cracked. Thin, sharp, spiderweb fractures spreading like lightning across the pane. Loud helicopters roared above the building. Military vans screeched to a stop outside. Heavy boots thundered in the stairwell. Omalika hissed. They found her, she said. They found us. Zara stepped in front of Frederick, Nala's roar shaking the walls. This wasn't supposed to happen, Omalika said, voice sharp. Zara's eyes glowed brighter than ever. They want the power inside me, she said. They want to take me away. Frederick's voice broke in terror. Zara, what do we do? Zara turned her head slowly. When they enter this room, she whispered, the truth will no longer be between us alone. She raised her hand. Wind surged violently. The entire floor shook. Nala roared again, and with a voice that carried the weight of two worlds, Zara said, It's time to protect what the forest gave me. The door blasted open. Armed soldiers stormed inside, and the building erupted into chaos. The door slammed open with a force that made every window on the 50th floor vibrate. Armed soldiers in dark tactical gear rushed in, forming a tight circle around Frederick, Zara, Omalika, Nala, and Jaja. Shouts filled the air. Stand down. Hands where we can see them. Secure the girl, now. Their rifles glinted under the harsh fluorescent lights. Their boots stomped in perfect rhythm. Their formation was clean, fast, trained. But none of them were prepared for what stood before them. A glowing-eyed girl with the presence of storm. Zara didn't move. Nala let out a deep growl that made two soldiers stumble backward. Omalika stepped forward, her voice echoing like layered thunder. You do not belong here. One soldier raised his weapon shakily. Stand down. This is a government directive. The girl is considered a biological anomaly. She must be contained. Zara's expression didn't change. She had heard words like these before. Monsters, anomaly, danger, cursed, names given by people who feared what they didn't understand. A soldier attempted to step closer. Nala roared, a sound so powerful windows shook. Two soldiers dropped to their knees, hands covering their ears. Hold the line, the commander barked. She must not escape this building. Frederick pushed himself forward, hands raised. Please, don't hurt her. Don't touch my daughter. The commander frowned. Your daughter stopped being just your daughter when she walked into the city. The government has been tracking strange phenomena for 6 years. Weather anomalies, electrical surges, unexplained tremors. And every single one pointed to her. Zara lowered her chin slightly. So they finally found me. The commander tightened his grip on his weapon. We don't want to harm you, he said, though fear colored his tone. We want to study you. Understand what you are. The world has questions, and you are going to help us answer them. Omalika stepped forward. You speak of understanding, yet you approach with weapons. That is not curiosity. That is fear disguised as duty. The commander tried to stop his voice from shaking. Stay back. Omalika's eyes glowed briefly. You have brought danger to yourselves. A soldier lunged forward with restraints in his hands. Zara didn't flinch. Wind exploded outward from her body. Not violently, but strong enough to send soldiers stumbling back several steps. Papers flew into the air. Lamps toppled over. The ceiling lights flickered. But Zara's voice remained calm. I didn't come here to fight. Her eyes shifted toward her father. But I will not let anyone take me away. Not again. The commander signaled his men. Tactical formation. This time, they rushed forward together. Nala leaped in front of Zara, landing with a thud that made the floor tremble. The soldiers froze. No one wanted to be the first to provoke the lioness. Zara placed a gentle hand on Nala's head. Easy, she whispered. Then she stepped around her guardian. Zara raised both hands slowly, not in surrender, but in command. The wind responded instantly. It swirled around her arms, lifting strands of her hair. Files flew open. Chairs scraped across the floor. Even the soldiers hesitated as the air thickened like invisible water. Stop, Zara said softly. Her voice wasn't loud, but it held power. Magnetic, heavy, unarguable. The soldiers froze, unable to take another step. The commander struggled forward, his boots grinding against the floor. We have to secure you. Zara's expression softened, almost sorrowful. You think capturing me will help you understand me, but you will never understand what I am if you see me only as a threat. Omalika stepped beside her. You are not here to solve mysteries, the spirit guardian said. You are here because humans fear anything they cannot control. The commander's jaw clenched. Fear or not, we have orders. And I have a choice, Zara said gently. Frederick stepped between them suddenly, arms wide. Please, listen to her. She is not dangerous. She is just... Zara spoke before he could finish. Father. Frederick turned. Zara's eyes held a quiet warning. You cannot protect me from them. Not with words. Frederick swallowed hard. But I can try. I have influence. I have connections. Zara shook her head. You had power the night you left me in the jungle. You chose fear then. Do not make the same mistake today. Frederick's breath caught. Zara stepped forward again, facing the soldiers. I will go with you, she said suddenly. The room fell silent. Even Omalika turned sharply. Child. Zara held up a hand. I will go if they release everyone else. The commander blinked. What? You aren't here for them, Zara said. You want me, so let them go. My father, Jaja, everyone in this building. No one else needs to pay for the fear you feel. The soldiers whisper among themselves. The commander hesitated. Zara, Frederick whispered, voice shaking. No, you can't. Zara looked at him. For the first time since she walked into the tower, her expression softened. Not fully, not forgiving, but human. Father, you wanted a chance to make things right, she said. Here it is. Frederick reached for her hand. Zara stepped back. You cannot fix what you broke with a single moment, she said gently. But this moment will show me who you choose to be. The commander lowered his weapon slowly. If you come willingly, he said, your father stays untouched. No charges. No interrogation. Swear it, Zara said. I swear. Zara nodded. Then I will come. Omalika's voice rose sharply. No. Child, no. The world of men will not handle your power with honor. They will fear you. They will cage you. Zara turned toward her. The jungle gave me strength, but I cannot hide there forever. But you do not belong to them. I belong to both worlds now. Omalika's face tightened with anguish. You are not ready. Zara stepped closer and placed a hand on the spirit's arm. I faced death at 9 years old, she whispered. I have been ready ever since. Omalika closed her eyes. Nala growled in protest, pacing anxiously beside Zara. Zara knelt and pressed her forehead to Nala's. Stay with Omalika, she whispered. Protect her. Protect the forest. The lioness whined, an actual whine of pain, refusal, heartbreak. Zara fought back tears. I will return, she said. I promise. Nala's growl softened into something like mourning. Zara rose to her feet. She extended her hands toward the soldiers. I am ready. They hesitated, then cuffed her wrists with metal restraints. The moment the cuffs touched her skin, lights flickered violently. Zara winced, her power pushing against the metal instinctively. I'm okay, she whispered, steadying her breath. She turned to Frederick. He looked shattered. Don't let them bury me, she said. Then she gave him the first sign of hope he had seen in 16 years. A small, broken, fragile smile. And then they took her away. Omalika placed a trembling hand on Nala's mane. The world of men has taken what the forest raised, she whispered. Frederick collapsed into a chair, sobbing uncontrollably. Jaja sank into the corner, whispering prayers. Nala roared, a haunting sound that echoed through the entire tower. And as Zara disappeared into the elevator, surrounded by armed soldiers, something deep within the earth stirred again, not in anger, not in warning, but in preparation, because the world had no idea. Taking Zara was not the end. It was the beginning of a reckoning. The military convoys sliced through the city like a dark river of steel and fear. Sirens wailed. Helicopters circled above. Roads were blocked as if the entire nation was bracing for a storm. Inside the armored truck sat Zara. Her wrists were bound in restraints designed for dangerous criminals, yet she sat perfectly still, quiet, composed, watching the city race past her through the tiny reinforced window. To the soldiers around her, she looked calm, but inside a battle rumbled, between the call of the forest and the weight of the world that abandoned her, between the spirit she had become and the girl who once cried in the rain. Back in the Cole International Tower, chaos unraveled. Frederick staggered through the destroyed hallway, hands shaking as he pulled out his phone. His voice cracked as he called every contact he had, governors, ministers, former allies, board members. They took my daughter, he shouted. Stop them. Bring her back. But every reply was the same. We're sorry. Sir, this order didn't come from the government. This unit doesn't appear in any official registry. Frederick, whoever took your daughter isn't military. Frederick went cold. Then who are they? Before anyone could answer, the line cut off. Jaja approached him shakily. Sir, she surrendered to protect you. Frederick sank into a chair, head buried in his hands. I failed her again, he whispered. First as a child, now as a young woman. Then he stood abruptly. No, not again. I'm not losing her twice. Jaja blinked. What will you do? What I should have done years ago, Frederick said, voice steadying. Fight for my daughter. For the first time in years, Frederick Cole did not look afraid. He looked determined. Meanwhile, deep inside the forest, Omalika and Nala stood at the jungle's edge, watching the helicopters carry Zara away. She has chosen her path, Omalika murmured. Nala growled bitterly. Yes, Omalika whispered, but destiny is not a straight road. It bends for those strong enough to reshape it. Her eyes narrowed. And the world of men has taken something the forest does not surrender without consequence. Nala roared, a roar that vibrated through the leaves, and sent flocks of birds scattering into the sky. After an hour-long ride, the convoy arrived at a massive underground complex far outside Lagos, a building hidden beneath the earth, surrounded by electric fences and concrete walls thicker than some city bridges. The gates opened slowly. Zara watched everything with quiet awareness. She felt the hum of electricity, the tremble of machines, the cold, clinical air of a place meant for experiments, not healing. The soldiers escorted her inside. Scientists lined the corridor, whispering and pointing as if she were a celebrity and a threat at the same time. Is this her? The readings are impossible. She looks so normal. No, look at her eyes. Zara ignored them. She followed the guards into a chamber filled with bright lights and metal structures. Restraints hung from the ceiling like cold silver vines. A man in a white lab coat stepped forward. He was older, with gray hair neatly combed and glasses reflecting harsh light. "Welcome, Zara," he said with unsettling calm. "I am Dr. Simeon. I've been waiting a long time to meet you." Zara didn't respond. Dr. Simeon circled her slowly. "You survived an event no human child should survive," he murmured. "You adapted. You evolved. We believe you may hold the key to a breakthrough humanity has sought for decades." Zara's voice remained quiet. "I am not your experiment." "Oh, child," the doctor smiled, "you don't have a choice." Before Zara could move, the restraints tightened around her wrists and ankles. The lights above her intensified. Machines hummed to life. Her pulse pounded. Her power stirred. "Do not resist," Dr. Simeon said. Zara closed her eyes. "It's not me you should fear." "Oh!" the doctor smirked. "And who should I fear?" Zara opened her eyes. They blazed gold. "The ones coming for you." Frederick didn't waste a second. He chartered a private helicopter. He tracked the convoy's route through illegal channels. He bribed, threatened, and forced information out of anyone who stood in his way. Jaja flew beside him, gripping the armrest tightly.